Hey everybody, Pat Palmer, the computer guy from Hampton, Iowa, here on another episode of Pat's on Periscope from Monday night at 8 o'clock. Hey, we welcome Jamie's here. Jamie's probably enjoying that new telephone she won the other day at the big Midwest Social Media Summit that was held on Saturday. And what a successful day that was. I'm going to recap a little bit of that. First, we're going to talk, for those who've never been here before, and we have a few new viewers from Saturday, which we did a Periscope event on Saturday, just to kind of show some folks how Periscope works and how to record the video from what you're seeing here, hello, to what you see on my randomaccess.bz page, or my Facebook, or my YouTube page. And so what we want to do is we're going to cover some social, we're going to cover some tech, and we're going to cover some hoaxes. I don't think we're going to cover many hoaxes tonight because I have a full slate of some other stuff today. But this is something that more and more people are stumbling into that will end up biting you in the butt. You're on your way to work. Maybe you work in a bigger office building or whatnot, and you find a flash drive that is laying in the street, or it's next to the building, or whatever. 17% of you will plug this into your work computer, and that is a bad thing, because what could happen on here, it could just be somebody's family photos, it could be somebody's personal photos, or it could be a malicious file that could interfere with your network's system. And it could open a lot of doors, open up a lot of maybe a wormhole or something for someone to come into your network, and all you've done is just plugged in a harmless flash drive, and now, well, nothing really happened. Well, in the background, it may have happened. It may have certainly infected your system, and certainly infected your computer, and maybe opened up your network. So if you do find one of these in the driveway or somewhere, taking it to work and plugging it into your work computer, not the neatest idea in the world to do. Maybe turn it over to your IT department, or better yet, call the computer guy, and I can always come down and plug it in my laptop and see what the story is on that. So yeah, again, 17% of people will just be, wonder what this is, and plug it into your network, and they will certainly possibly be sorry for that. Well, that's good, Ken. That would certainly violate the plug-in at work. I know when my wife worked at a place in Mason City that's no longer there, they did not have any sort of USB ports on the computer at all. So that limited that sort of behavior. But anyway, that's just a warning. 17% will plug that in, and could really mess things up. So people know how to reach me. You can call me at 641-456-1936, or they can just go online to my website at www.thecomputerguy.bz. So that's how you find me there. There was no wireless mouse. It was a wired mouse into a PS2 port. That is how she used a mouse. All right, let's talk about the big Midwest Social Media Summit that was held this past Saturday. Here was the agenda I had to print off. This past Saturday at Nyack. One thing that, a couple things probably should be done for next year, is the branding. Nobody got the name right. It was Midwest Social Media Summit. I heard Marketing Midwest Social Media Summit. I heard social media seminar. I heard, conference. Need to get the name right. That would be a first to certainly a first step on that. So, but anyway, that's a minor thing. We started everything off at about 8 o'clock with some the registration. Of course, they had coffee and rolls. Those were good, and they left those rolls out there through about noon. So. One of those 10:30 things, if you need a little pick-me-up, you can always go out and get yourself a roll. We started on time. you don't understand how valuable on time means when you're running a conference like this. On time means you don't start late. You're not struggling the whole time to make up time. You start on time, and really what they did, they were pretty much ahead the whole day. So I was mostly in the B track section. They had a track A and a track B. And we start off, of course, at 8:45 with Shannon Latham gave a good talk about her businesses and about what she did and how she got involved in social media and how she turned lemon into lemonade, you might say, on some of it, because she does a very successful blog for her husband's company. Of course, she has the Enchanted Acres Pumpkin Patch, and she's done a whole lot of stuff with that, mainly through social media. So she hasn't had to. Certainly, I've seen ads here and there for the Enchanted Acres Pumpkin Patch, but a lot of the excitement is created online, and she target markets to the people who would tend to bring their kids out to a pumpkin patch. At 9:30, track A heard from Lori Light. I didn't hear that part of it. I did listen to Professor Kelly Bloomquist, and she was quite informative. That was at 9:30. At 10:30, we had the North Iowa bloggers on the other side of the room. That was in the track A. They helped people set up business pages for Facebook. Heard that was very informative, very good. Plus, they had a lot of bloggers there that would help businesses do that. So that was a key point there. It just wasn't somebody lecturing at the front of the room, and now you do this, and next you do that, and now we're going to do this. No, you had people that if somebody had a question, they could raise their hand, and then a blogger would come over and help them get through a point. On track B, Lori Kite talked about rebranding and Twitter, and that was great. So a lot of people did go. A lot of the room was just split 50-50, and that was great, because what you hate to see is 130 people on one side of the room and 4 people on the other side of the room. That doesn't work so well. Track B was Darcy Malsby talking about photography, and she's just written a book I purchased the other day because I was on. I used to live in Calhoun County, so I purchased the book. It was not on Periscope, sorry, bud. But I did purchase one of her new book from the history of Calhoun County, and I knew my only. Of course, I worked at the radio station over there for 5 years, but heard a lot of stories about Babe Ruth coming to Rockwell City, and he did, and did this barnstorming thing. And they said he hit a ball that nobody ever did find. Hit it in a cornfield, nobody ever did find it. But it showed him pictures out at the Twin Lakes Golf Course, and he golfed for the day out there as well. And Darcy did a very good job. At 11:30, track A was Betsy Armstrong. She did a presentation on constant contact and email marketing, while on the other side, I did a presentation on Periscope. And hopefully, we went fast. It was pretty quick. It was a half hour. I think probably I could have, if I would have had maybe 45 minutes to an hour, I got the feeling I left a few people behind, and I hate that feeling. So anyway, next time on the agenda, we'll extend that possibly. So, but we did have about a 50-50 split there as well, too. I would say about 100 and, there you go. About all of the people that were there was about 120, 130 with the bloggers added in. It was a packed house. Excellent facilities up there at Nyack. 12:15, I know that Adam Frederick came in, and 137. Adam Frederick came in and introduced Noah and Brooke Kupcho, and they gave a presentation on Instagram for business. Some of it duplicated, and they had no idea this would happen. Some of it duplicated what we saw in Darcy's presentation, but if you weren't in Darcy's presentation, then it was all new to you. So, and they did a pretty good job of presenting. After lunch is tough, and well, thank you. Love Living Green. It's tough to follow lunch. I was before lunch, and of course, when you're before lunch, people are saying, I'm hungry, I wish you'd hurry up, I'm hungry, I wish you'd hurry up. But anyway, after lunch, people are like, and so it was good to get them after lunch, because sometimes if they put you to sleep, it's tough to get them back. Another thing that's tough to get back is sometimes participants who come to an event like this sometimes leave at lunchtime or after lunch. I don't think that there were 5 people that left. I know there was a few people that had some emergencies, and I knew there were a couple people just had other commitments. I know there was a big fundraiser going on in Mason City as well that day, and I know a few people who left early for that. Track A at 1:30 was Tony Halstead. I wasn't on that side, but I've heard Tony speak before. He does a very good job. I was on the small business panel side with Deb and Sarah and Katie and Michael, and they did a very good job. 2:15 to 2:30, there was just some milling around and networking, they call that. I call that milling around. But it's a good time to connect, and for me, it was a good time to talk to a few people who had some questions on the Periscope thing. And finally, to tie it all together at 2:45 was Scott Meyer, and he did a very good job. He'd been there all day, and he'd kind of listened to a lot of the presentations, so he kind of had a good thing of melding everything together. So he was a good speech at the end. I've seen people where it's the end of the day, everybody's tired, everybody kind of is looking at their watch to go home. I did hear of a couple people said, I'm just being overwhelmed by all this stuff. Well, you'd rather be overwhelmed and then get home and get on the toolkit like they provided the link for at the conference, and then at your leisure, maybe on a Sunday or a Monday, be able to look over those tools in the toolkit and say, that's right, that's right, and that's right. You'd rather be overwhelmed than underwhelmed. And I've been to some that have just been underwhelming, and you feel like you just want to leave. And I remember in Des Moines, I was at a conference down there one day, and it was the same guy talking for 8 hours. Oh, I said, this is enough. After lunch, came back. I said, are you going to be the presenter after lunch as well? He said, well, yes, I am, and I'm a very good speaker, and blah, 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 blah. And, he almost, I bet he dislocated his shoulder, patting himself on the back. And at that point in time, I said, well, you're just going to have to do it without me, because I couldn't take that. It's good to have a variety, somebody fresh every so often. And, I mean, the day went very well. This was a kind of a first-time event for the folks with the Papa John Center, the Social Connections, with Sarah with Social Connections, the Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce, the Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce. We also had some other sponsors as well. That was on the postcard. Clear Lake Rentals, Grove Forest City, Holiday Inn Express, CLTEL, Main Street Mason City, WebWise Solutions, Digity Radio and Digity Media, and The Computer Guy. So I would certainly be in line to sponsor something like this again. A very good time was had, and a lot of smiles. I know I posted on my The Computer Guy Facebook page the video that was kind of the recap that Michael Libby did that showed a lot of people what they learned and what had been covered. So again, an A+ for the gals and guys who put this on. I know it was a big undertaking. I myself didn't think Saturday would work. One thing though, Iowa had the weekend off, and Iowa State played out of town, so we did have those factors as well. But some people just like their Saturdays, and some people just don't want to go to a conference on a Saturday. But this fortunately worked out for everybody. So that's what we have for today for Pat's on Periscope. Hey, you can check out my video blog at www.randomaccess.bz. Of course, if you ever need the Computer Guy for any of your tech issues, check me out at www.thecomputerguy.bz, and you can contact me right there. Again, we're here every Monday night. Next Monday night, I don't know if I'll be here. It's my birthday, and we may be having cake and ice cream and clowns and ponies. So I don't know if we'll have clowns and ponies or not, but we may have pizza. So we'll have to see for next Monday night. But anyway, we will keep you up to date on that. So anyway, that is about all I have for tonight. Short and sweet, about 15 minutes in and out. And that is what we have for Pat's on Periscope for this 26th day of October 2015. We'll see you next week.